The following is a presentation of the Women's Football Alliance.
The WFA season is in full play mode and the games keep getting better and better. Welcome to Week 3 on the road to Canton. Welcome to another week of the road to Canton. I'm Brian Sweeney, the voice of the WFA Pro Division National Championship. This past weekend, we saw excitement across all venues. Here are the scores and highlights for the Pro Division matchups of Week 2. The Arlington Impact moved to 2-0 on the season with a second straight road victory, this time over the Houston Energy by a score of 34-30. Boston extended their winning streak into a fourth season and to 23 games by beating the DC Divas 69-28. The Cali War opened the season with a road win over the California Crush 41-0. The Tampa Bay Inferno also started the season with a shutout themselves, beating the Jacksonville Dixie Blues 76-0. Last year's Division II champs, the Nevada Storm, won their first ever Pro Division game over the Mile High Blaze by a final score of 22-8. And the Minnesota Vixen were able to remove the proverbial monkey from their backs by beating the St. Louis Slam at home 41-6 and moving to 2-0 on the season. Alex Westhead breaks down the Vixen and Slam Game of the Week.
Thanks, Brian. Week 2's Game of the Week in the WFA Pro Division featured a rivalry renewed as the St. Louis Slam and the Minnesota Vixen played each other for the first time since 2019. It looked all Slam early, as after a Minnesota interception, quarterback Jamie Gall for St. Louis found Danielle Price past the Minnesota secondary 81 yards into the end zone to give the St. Louis Slam a 6-0 lead, including a missed extra point. Minnesota would respond on its next drive as Grace Cooper on 4th and 4 was able to find the end zone from 32 yards out to give Minnesota their first lead against the St. Louis Slam since the 2017 season. Grace Cooper would find the end zone, but it would take the defense to help her, as defensive lineman Jamie Salone tipped the ball up to defensive lineman Jody Williams, who took it 40 yards to put Minnesota in prime field position. Grace Cooper would finish off that drive for her second rushing touchdown on the day, and the Vixen would lead 14-6. That would be at the score at the half, but Minnesota would take advantage early in the third quarter, as another short field gave Minnesota prime opportunity to score, and with Grace Cooper being in the backfield, they found the way to do so, as an outside rush to the right side edge from just a few yards out gave Grace Cooper touchdown number 3 on the day, and the Minnesota Vixen a 21-6 lead. Grace Cooper would not be done though, as her 4th rushing touchdown of the day gave Minnesota a 28-6 lead early in the 4th quarter, and at that point it was all she wrote, but Minnesota kept adding points onto the scoreboard, as a perfect pass from Erin Kelly to tight end Jackie Radford found the end zone for 6 with a missed extra point. That made it a score of 34-6. It would take one more rushing touchdown with 3 in the backfield. Confusion created by Jesse Haas and Grace Cooper allowed Erin Kelly to find some space off to the right side. That made it 41-6, and that's how it was final, as Minnesota was able to defeat the St. Louis Slam for the first time in franchise history by a final of 41-6.
We'll be right back. The Women's Football Alliance wants to thank their sponsors, KT Tape, Coors Light, Wilson, Aid Nation, Zenith, Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company, Secret, and the NFL Alumni Academy. Thank you for your support of the Women's Football Alliance. Welcome back. I'm personally still having nightmares from last week's Low on the Go when the nice clean white sock stepped into the wet spot. Hopefully this week, there's something to put my mind at ease.
What's up, everybody? It's Low on the Go. I'm sitting here right now, but last week we were to be continued, so let's continue. What a turn of events! We had Minnesota Vixen and St. Louis Slam in the house talking about who is the boss, and da-da-da, Big congrats to Vixen for taking home the win, and big shout out to both teams for a game well played. I gotta tell you, here at Low on the Go, we like to be most extra. We like to be silly and fun, and sometimes we might exaggerate a little bit to have fun with the game. But in the WFA, we do all of our talking with our pads on the field. Not with the yellow Starburst, not with the WD-40, but with our pads, and that's exactly what both teams did. But of all the chaos from last week, we wanted to slow things down a little bit, and I have such a fun and cute surprise for you. Watch this. We are twinning right now. Let's hear directly from them.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Allen. And my name is Kaylin Allen. We're 12 years old, twin football players, and we've been playing football for 7 years.
7 years? That's more than half your life. What position do you play?
I play slot and outside linebacker. I play center, middle linebacker, DN, and long snapper.
How did you get into football?
So we went to school one day, and all the boys were playing football in recess. So I asked if I could play, but one boy said that girls couldn't play. So I went home and asked my mama if I could play.
Okay, burning question. What is your twin ESPN?
What? You mean ESP? Yeah, ESP.
Oh, yes, ESP. But we do know that you will be on ESPN one day. But yeah, what is your twin tuition?
Sometimes we finish each other's sentences and we think about each other when we're not together. And sometimes we also say stuff at the same time and think about stuff.
What is something that you have to overcome when you play?
Going through the discrimination, because most men don't want to see girls beating up on their boys and dominating.
Oh!
I don't like when I don't get passes and boys do.
You're playing with all boys. How is that?
It makes me feel like I need to do more, because I need to show them that I'm not just a girl. I'm a football player on the football field.
What a great mindset. You are a football player and your talent shows that. What do you think about the WFA?
I think it is a very good league for other females to play football, because back then women couldn't play football. It was not even a decision that they could make. And I am looking forward for women to get paid and for us to play in that league someday.
And I know you will. So you're 12. By the time you turn 18, where do you want to see women's football?
I want to see women's football getting paid, big hits on live television, just like the NFL.
Oh, come on, we gotta go talk to some people. Can you talk about what it means to see other girls playing?
It is very important, because there has to be other younger girls to keep the league moving. Because once women retire, there has to be girls to fill their spaces. Yes.
What a wise perception. How does it feel to see women play in a professional league?
Because it makes us know that we have a spot when we get older and that we can play football, and it just gives us more determination to keep playing football against boys and knowing that we're going to get somewhere one day.
If you could meet anyone in the world, who would it be?
Lowe's good.
Oh! I'm on my way.
Definitely. We're looking forward to meeting.
Me too. Are there any football players that you look up to?
Ayanna Stalter, because she has such big hits. I look up to Lois Cook because she's playing the same position as I am, receiver, and she's very big on social media. And Blair Slaughter, because she is a really good quarterback and has thrown some passes to me.
Ayanna, Blair, call me back. What is something that the world needs to know about superstar twins Kaylin and Palin?
We're ready for the future, and that we're going to keep on playing football, keep getting better at our position.
Kaylin and Palin, you are a powerhouse set of twins who play football. I am so proud of you, and I have to share that the WFA has several sets of twins who also play football, and two of them have a special message for you. This is from Olivia and Octavia Griswold, and they said, Kaylin and Palin, don't let anyone stop you from competing. As long as your heart is in it, you will succeed. And if the boys don't want to play with you because you're a girl, make them. They will remember you.
This week, there's no formal Pro Division Game of the Week, so Alex Wested is back to break down the Pro Division teams and how they fare in the Massey rating.
With the regular season schedule in the WFA now 25% complete, it's time to take a look at the playoff structure to see how the teams that are headed to Canton, Ohio will get there. The Women's Football Alliance uses what's called the Massey rating, a system of statistics, numbers, and other information to help determine which team is the best among teams that do not normally play each other. A common comparison towards the Massey ratings is that of the pairwise system in college hockey. In the National Conference, in the Massey ratings, as we'll take a look at that conference first, the Boston Renegades currently are atop the National Conference. They've played just one contest, a road game, however, a 69-28 win over the DC Divas in the Beltway. The Boston Renegades figure to be a team atop the Massey rating when the regular season concludes in late May, as the rest of their schedule is against WFA Pro opponents, including contests at Tampa Bay, home to Detroit, Pittsburgh, and DC, and also on the road at the St. Louis Slam. Their schedule is tough, but Boston so far through just one game has proven that they are more than capable of repeating their championship title. In second place in the National Conference at this time is the DC Divas. They've split their regular season schedule so far. Both home contests, a win against the Baltimore Nighthawks in the Battle of the Beltway, and that loss to the Boston Renegades. They have just one non-WFA Pro contest remaining, coming on April the 30th against Baltimore. They will have the opportunity to improve, but ideally they'll need to split their regular season series with the Boston Renegades and avoid any other slips in the cracks the rest of the way, including a home game against the Tampa Bay Inferno and on the road in Pittsburgh, to have the opportunity to stay up and maybe surpass the Boston Renegades. They will, however, need significant margins of victory in which to be able to do so, but the health, as we looked at in our first visual of the season, appears to be back for the DC Divas. In third place in the National Conference for the WFA is the Pittsburgh Passion. They've played just once this season so far, a 27-8 win on the road against the WFA Pros Detroit Venom. They'll also have a bye week this week, so they'll have contests every week the rest of the way. They also feature contests against two Division II opponents in the Tri-State Warriors and the Columbus Chaos. Their other schedule in WFA Pro features the opportunity perhaps to move up into advance. They'll have to go to Boston. They'll have to host Detroit and DC as well. The opportunity for Pittsburgh is there. If they can repeat the success that they had in Week 1 against Detroit, they will certainly be able to jostle themselves further for position in the National Conference. On the other side of the country, the American Conference appears to be a little bit more perilous, as any of the teams currently in the top 5 have the opportunity to be that number 1 team in the Massey rating. The American Conference Massey ratings leader is the Minnesota Vixen. 2 contests, 2 thorough defeats over opponents, one, however, Division III in the Iowa Phoenix. They have contests against Nevada, Arlington, and St. Louis on the WFA Pro side to help improve their stance atop the Massey ratings. Their regular season finale on the road in Omaha, Nebraska against the Nebraska Valkyries should prove to be tough competition as well, as the Nebraska Valkyries have played well against their opponents so far. The question will become, will it be enough, however, to keep them atop the Massey ratings? A team that thinks that they can leapfrog over the Minnesota Vixen is that of the Cali War. With one contest played in Week 2, a 41-0 victory over the California Crush on the road. Their contest schedule the rest of the way features home contests against Kern County, the Arizona Outcasts, and the Nevada Storm. They also play 2 more road contests at Arlington and at Nevada. If the Cali War are able to jump over, they will need strong showings against Nevada in both home and away contests, and another strong showing against the Arlington Impact, a team which they fared well against last season. They'll need to continue to improve their offensive numbers as well, as those 41 points are a great way to start, but they need to continue doing so against the opponents the rest of the way. In third place in the American Conference comes the Nevada Storm. They had a little bit of a struggle compared to what they are used to doing against the Mile High Blaze in Denver, Colorado in their Week 2 contest. They'll have a bye week this week before a WFA Pro Game of the Week hosting the Minnesota Vixen. They'll also have 2 contests against Cali War and against Portland and Kern County. If you want to see where Nevada's going to end up, it will be their showings against Minnesota. Minnesota looks tough. Cali looks tough as well. If the Storm want to storm their way to Canton, Ohio, they'll have to do so getting through presumably both Cali and Minnesota in order to host those playoff games, but also to qualify for them as they stand. That's where the teams in the WFA stand in the Massey rating here in week number 3. There's the opportunity for change, the opportunity for strength, the opportunity for drops, as we'll continue to watch the road to Canton to see where these teams are headed in just a few short weeks.
Thanks, Alex. Here's this week's Pro Division matchups.
2 undefeated Pro Division teams meet up as Boston is on the road in Tampa Bay. Detroit Venom is looking to get their first win of the season when they travel to play Division III's Capital City Savages. The Dallas Elite Mustangs are back at home and looking for a win, this time as they host the Division III Gulf Coast Monarchy. And the Cali War have their home opener where they look to move to 2-0 on the season when they host the Division III Kern County Crusaders. Minnesota, DC, Arlington, Nevada, Pittsburgh, and St. Louis are all on byes this week.
Randy J is back with another in-depth interview in the segment Under Her Helmet.
Good evening, everyone. This is your girl, Brandy J, and I am the host of Under the Helmet. And tonight we're going to have the one and only Lois Cook on here. She's also co-hosted for Road to Canton. And we're going to talk about her journey as a football player, as a mother, as just being all about bringing more eyes to the game of football for women. Hello.
Hi. Okay. Oh, Lord.
I'm already recording, so they getting audits.
Woo.
Well, I'm so excited to have you as a guest on my segment for Under Her Helmet. Like, this is important because I want people to know who you are, your TikToks, and it's amazing. Like, I sometimes like, how does she find the time to come up with all these ideas? But just reading about your story about just wanting to be like the first female in NFL and your love for football and your injuries and being a mother of 4?
Yeah. 4 boys.
So besides being a mom, you're a social media influencer, you're a football player, and you're the VP of operations, vice president for the DC Divas. I mean, okay, let's just start. I want to know, like, where did your love for football come from? Like, why did you say this is what I want to do?
So, okay, when I think back on like the earliest time that I experienced football, it was a huge adrenaline rush for me. So I'm remembering being on, we lived right across the street from our elementary school, and we went to the field to play football, my brother and I, and then the neighborhood kids, so his friends. There were no girls. So my brother's only 11 months older than me, so yeah, everything he did, I followed. And I remember just being on the field playing football, and like it just went to my head. I think it was an adrenaline rush that was it was so much fun. It was just like this big rush of like, I can do anything I want to do. I can push, I can pull, I can jump on people. But then it was also met with like, everyone was kind of impressed that I was doing all of that. Like I was in there, I'm all in, and being the only girl and just like not missing a beat. Football's
so where did it come from? Like, I want to be the first girl in the NFL. Like, because, as women, I think, a lot of women, we always want to, that's what my motto is. I'm going to break barriers. Mm-hmm. That's why I got into media. No one looked like me, act like me, sound like me. And I wanted to see people who were real women, like who had some real stories. So so what motivation did you say, I want to be the first woman in the NFL, even though, they support women in football, but I just want to know, where did that drive come from, as that was a dream of yours, and how did you make that happen?
So it's interesting because it really wasn't, it's not deep at all. It's not like I'm powerful and I'm going to make this change for the whole world. It was just simple, the simple fact that there were no other girls. So I could only be the first. If I were to be in the NFL, I would be the first woman. But I lost that very quickly. That dream to be the first woman in the NFL, that left me when I was first introduced to the Women's League when I was in college. Mm-hmm. When I found the Women's League, that I was like, this is my NFL. This is all I want. I don't want to play with the guys. This is my space.
And how do your kids, like, how do they feel? I mean, I'm not that they're young, But the 15-year, like, what does he feel about his mom being a football player and out there? And, you know, what was his like, what are his thoughts?
So so again, like all my kids were born into football. So when he was little, he came to practice with me quite often, but when he was little, he would look on TV and he'd see the Washington football team on TV and he'd say, "It's mommy football, it's mommy football." So what I love about that is that for him, he's growing up where women play football.
So you and I also play football. You are a mom of 4 beautiful boys. You have your own foundation. What else do you do? I mean, when do you sleep, woman? You know.
Maybe not tonight. Got a lot of work to do.
And a social media influencer. We're gonna get into that in a minute. But like, what? Okay, tell everyone about your foundation and what does your foundation stand for?
So it's not mine, it's all of ours.
Yes.
So it's Lois Cook Foundation for lack of a better name, but the purpose of the foundation is to support young girls who want to play football in school, to support the women who already play, because as you know, we do have fees that we have to pay, we have expenses, and then there's the most significant, well, maybe not the most, but it is very significant, but when we run into injuries, you know, women who play football also have outside careers that they need to sustain
everywhere. Well, I am so excited that I got to sit down and meet with you finally. I know we've been talking text, email, like that. And this was a great way for me to get to know you more, for you to get to know me more, because we got some great things coming your guys' way, WFA. This is not it. You know, we got some great ideas. So again, thank you for tuning in for this episode of Under Her Helmet. Make sure you tune in every week for the new episodes of Road to Canton, my segment, Lois segment, everyone else's segment, and what we have going on. And make sure you find a team in your area, in your city, and go support. Even if you have no one playing on a team, just go support. You support the NFL, you can support the WFA. Again, this is Brandy J, and I'll see you guys next time.
The Women's Football Alliance wants to thank their sponsors, KT Tape, Coors Light, Wilson, Aid Nation, Zenith, Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company, Secret, and the NFL Alumni Academy. Thank you for your support of the Women's Football Alliance.
Welcome back. I want to take a moment to remind fans that the WFA website, a team's website, or a team's official Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram page are the only places to get official links for games to watch. A lot of times you'll see comments such as the ones behind me telling you to click on a link, and then those places ask for a credit card. Those are scams, and they're looking to compromise your personal information. Please watch with care. For Brandy J, Alex Westhead, Lois Cook, I'm Brian Sweeney. We'll see you next week on the Road to Canton.
Thank you for watching the preceding presentation from the Women's Football Alliance.